Please share.
Yes, sir. So first we will discuss about neo-FFI. So neo-FFI is the personality related. It's an inventory.
Yeah, one sec. Now, in psychological testing, we have understood initially that is how to assess the intelligence, how to assess one's attitude towards the object. And today we will learn about how to assess the personality. Personality is very, very important in psychological research, specifically in applied psychometrics. Because in assessment of personality, two approaches are there. One approach is the type approach. Another one is the trait approach. So type approach means whether you are introverted or extroverted. That means whether you are ingoing or outgoing. Okay, so that is the type approach. And there is another type, that is the ambiverted. Though later on, many psychologists, they are opinion that ambivert is not required. Only you try to understand the introverted and the extroverted. So that is the type approach. There is another type, neurotic or psychotic. So this is another type. Okay, so that is the type approach. And there is another approach, that is the trait approach. So trait approach assumes that personality can be assessed through the several traits. For example, Cattell 16 PF. Raymond Cattell, he developed the questionnaire that is measuring 16 personality factors. So their approach is trait approach. And later on, Costa developed another test, that is the neo-FFI. Costa and another author is there. So they developed neo-FFI for the personality trait of the adult population. The advantage of neo-FFI is it includes 5 factors instead of the 16 factors. So before understanding the neo-FFI, we have to understand what is called personality. Personality is a dynamic organization. That means personality is changing in nature. Inside the person, of psychophysical systems that create the person's characteristic pattern of behavior, thoughts, and feelings by Gordon Allport, 1937. So it is very clear that is personality is changing, and it is the organization means there are set of personality characteristics. They are correlated with each other and they are influencing our behavior towards the environment. They are affecting our cognition, emotion, motivation, etc. The word personality originates from the Latin word persona, which means mask. Next. So introduction to the Neo-FFI. 3. Farah, can you increase the size? The Neo-FFI is the updated version of the Neo-FFI 60-item version of the Neo-PI3. It provides a quick, reliable, and accurate measure of the 5 domains of personality. It is developed by the McRae and Costa. The 5 personality traits are neuroticism, extraversion, openness, agreeableness, and conscientiousness. Acronyms commonly used to refer to the 5 traits collectively are OCEAN, or NEO-AC, or CANO. The Big 5 model is able to account for different traits in personality without overlapping. Empirical research has shown that the Big 5 personality traits show consistency in interview, self-description, and observation. Moreover, this 5-factor structure seems to be found across a wide range of participants of different ages and of different cultures. That means Big 5 personality traits, it includes the 5 factors, and usually they are called OCEAN or CANO or Neo-AC. So what is the meaning of all those factors? Farah, you go to the next. First one is neuroticism. Neuroticism it is the tendency to experience unpleasant emotion easily, such as anger, anxiety, depression, and vulnerability. Neuroticism refers to the degree of emotional stability and impulse control, and is sometimes referred to by its low pole emotional stability. High need for stability manifests as stable and calm personality, but can be seen as uninspiring and unconcerned. A low need for stability causes a reactive and excitable personality, often very dynamic individuals. Neuroticism facets include anxiety, hostility, depression, self-consciousness, impulsiveness, vulnerability to stress. One item example: at time, I have felt bitter and resentful. So this is all about the neuroticism. Usually neuroticism occurs when individual becomes very much anxious and irritable, particularly when their self-esteem level becomes low, then there is a chance for the neurotic tendency, some vulnerable behavior that is possible among them. Next, extraversion. Extraversion people, they have the high energy, positive emotion, assertiveness, sociability. High extraversion is often perceived as attention seeking, and low extraversion causes a reserved, reflective personality, which can be perceived as aloof or self-absorbed. Facets of extraversion is warmth, feeling, gregariousness, assertiveness, activity, excitement seeking, and positive emotion. One example item is I like to have a lot of people around me. Next. Openness. Openness reflects the degree of intellectual curiosity, creativity, and a preference for novelty and variety a person has. And when the openness is high, that means the person is very imaginative or independent. The facet is fantasy, aesthetic, feelings, action, ideas, values. Item is I think it is interesting to learn and develop new hobbies. So generally you will find that there are some people who are very much creative in nature and they are developing new hobbies, new theories, new ideas regularly. So these people are very much open-minded. Next, agreeableness, a tendency to compassionate and cooperative rather than suspicious and antagonistic towards others. It is also a measure of one's trusting and helpful nature. High agreeableness is often seen as naive or submissive. Low agreeableness personalities are often competitive, challenging people, which can be seen as argumentative or untrustworthy. Farah, is it correct? High agreeableness, they are submissive.
So it is there in the menu.
Please you check.
Okay.
Because the facet is trust, straightforwardness, altruism, compliance, and modesty. Item, I try to be courteous to everyone I meet. Next, agreeableness. Yeah, this is very, very important, particularly for the researcher. Conscientiousness, they are very organized, dependable, self-discipline, act dutifully, aim for achievement, and prefer planned rather than spontaneous behavior. High conscientiousness people, they are stubborn and obsessive. Low conscientiousness are flexible and spontaneous, but can be perceived as sloppy and unreliable. Facet competence, order, dutifulness, achievement, striving, self-discipline. Item is I keep my belonging neat and clean. Neat and clean, no? You have written neat and clear. Just to check. Now the psychometric properties are very important. When you want to study any particular psychological test, your first objective will be whether the psychological test is unidimensional or the multidimensional. So if it is unidimensional, that means it does not have multiple domains. It has single domain, and you will learn the operational definition of that single domain. For example, state anxiety inventory or trait anxiety inventory. This is a single domain. But neo-FFI is multidimensional and it has the multiple domains. Okay, that means you have to learn the operational definition of all the 5 domains because it includes the 5 domains. O, she, E, A, N. O means openness, she means conscientiousness, E means extraversion, A means agreeableness, N means neuroticism. Next, your function is to understand the reliability and validity. So this is the reliability of the test. Test-retest correlation. You will find that this is very high in 107 college students as well as 462 Australian adults. That means test-retest reliability high. That indicates that items are consistent over the periods. Next. And this is the validity. So this is the internal validity. That means internal consistency based upon the coefficient of alpha. And coefficient of alpha is very high in case of all the variables. They are close to 0.8. That means internal consistency are very high. Specifically for neuroticism, it is 0.86 and conscientiousness 0.82. Okay, next. Administration. So neo-FFI 3 may be administered individually or in groups. So individually, you can administer the testing environment should be comfortable and free of distraction and provide adequate lighting, a pencil, a flat surface such as desk or clipboard on which the respondent can write. The tester should engage the respondent in the task of completing the test to reduce the possibility of response rate or random responding to the items. So this is all about the administration. Yeah. So there are 5-point rating scale: strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree. And there are some reverse items. So when you want to score the data, then you have to select the reverse items and score the items in reverse way. So if it is 1, it will be 5. If it is 2, it will be 4, like that. Precaution: the test administered should be in optimal condition without noise and disturbance. And before that, you have to establish the good rapport with the candidate. Particularly for scoring, if unanswered items are found, the respondent should be asked to complete them. If a respondent is unsure of the meaning of an item or is unsure of how to respond, he or she may be told to use the neutral response option. If the respondent did not provide a response to every item and no longer available to the examiner must determine whether the data may be validly scored. If 10 or more items have been left blank, test is invalid and not to be formally scored. When 9 or fewer items have been left blank, the blank item should be scored as if the neutral option. Domain score: locate the 5 columns of items, each separately in the answer grid, and some of the values of marked respond to these 12 items. Analysis of the result: refer to the Neo FFI 3 form S, that is the adult one, scoring sheet, and mark your raw scores in the male or female columns in order to draw the graph from the relatively raw score. And after that, you have to follow the T-score. And T-score, there you can find out the norm. Okay. Next. So this is the interpretation of the data. Yes, high neuroticism, sensitive, emotional, and prone to experience feelings that are upsetting, like that extraversion, extroverted, outgoing, active, and huge, high-spirited. You prefer to be around people most of the time. Openness, open to new experience. You have broad interest and are very imaginative. Agreeableness, compassionate, good-natured, and eager to cooperate and avoid conflict. Conscientiousness, they are well organized. You have a high standards and always strive to achieve your goals. So in this way, you can interpret the data. I am telling only the high portion, that is average, and low portion. So based upon the T-score, then you can tell that is whether the individual is average or whether the individual is low. NEO is widely used instrument specifically for assessing the personality within a short period of time.
The next is reading writing motivation.
You give them time at least 5 minutes. After after that.
Yes, sir, sure, sure.
So Shiv Kumar, Kavita, Mona Lisa, do you have any question about the personality test?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Shiv Kumar.
I have a question of I have little bit doubt about these five variables. Like as you mentioned, operational definition is very important.
Yeah.
These five variables. So I am very curious to know, particularly openness to new experience, and I think most of the variables, how we can understand depth of these variables, sir, because merely administering this test we won't able to understand, but we need to little bit depth of understanding these variables. So what to do this for to understand, sir, these five variables?
Okay. So
We have posted the manual, Shiv Kumar. There you will find the definitions and all.
No, my question is not that manual, madam. My question is to understand little bit depth of these variables.
okay, then what is important? You have to reflect the personality pattern among your friends or among your colleagues. Okay. For example, some people, they are very much organized. They are well planned. So who are the people they are well planned? Can you tell me? Who are the
Those
people?
were those were conscientious. That people are belong to that category. So they're
Yes,
very well organized.
yes. So you will find there are some people, they are very much conscientious, they are dutiful, they are well organized, well planned. Okay. Another people you will find they are very flexible in nature. They are thinking many things and they are very much imaginative. They are very creative also. Have you seen any people?
Yes, sir. I can this kind of people. Yes, it is very important to point out that because in our day-to-day interactions, if we keep aware of this kind of people, we can also change our approach to how to forward like our approach. So that is what just I wanted to know that.
For example, Rabindranath Tagore, he was open-mindedness. Okay. So in this way, you can relate.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir Isaac Newton, Einstein, okay, they are open-mindedness. And there are some people, they are always thinking that I am very much insecure. So they are vulnerable. They are telling different things which are not applicable for them. Okay, so you will find they are very anxious. Usually they are suffer. Their personality is neuroticism. Okay, so in this manner, you can relate. In your surroundings, you will find these five people.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. So Farah, I think in the next day we can discuss about the reading writing motivation.
Sure, sir.
That is better, no? Because the personality takes a lot of time.
Correct, sir. The manual is also, and students, you can read the manuals also for operational definition and for in-depth idea of each domain.
Another, ma'am, I would like to bring notice of sir, like we have done homework item related to environmental. So I have written in the Google Classroom. So is there in sir is given feedback for next class? So that will be
Oh,
good,
sure,
sir.
sure, sure. So Farah, please you remind me tomorrow, huh?
Yes, sir.
So that I can check it. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Kavita, for joining. Thank you, Mona Lisa. Thank you, Shiv Kumar. Farah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.